Hello there, you're welcome to the only show, still your number one show that projects events in the world of diplomacy and international relations, diplomatic affairs. The name is Harriet Nati. The show airs every Saturday on Pan-African television. We are also in over 40 African countries. In the interest of Pan-Africanism, you can also watch us in some parts of Europe, and of course, we are very big on social media, so you should catch up with us and get to know what is happening in this area. On this episode of the Diplomatic Affairs TV show, we will be bringing you the Full Circle Africa Economic Conference. Full Circle Africa Economic Conference. It is self-explanatory. So basically what is happening here is a 2-day event, and it is also co-founded by Boris Kodjoe, the Hollywood actor, and of course it has so many people who are here to participate in the 2023 Full Circle Africa Economic Conference. So this is very strategic, if you ask me, because I'm sure it is geared towards exploring opportunities, economic opportunities, and looking for avenues and investors into our country to come together and look at ways of partnering for job opportunities, and it's basically to promote socio-economic activities of our country. It is important to note that this program is not only focused on Ghana, it is focused on Africa as well. As we speak, the second day of the conference is in session, and all the stakeholders are seated, the organizers are seated as well, so there's going to be a lot of sessions that would be focused on various departments of the economy. So we are very much interested to learn some of the major issues that will be popping up. So we'll be speaking to some very interesting or high-profile personalities who have thronged in to participate in the 2023 Full Circle Africa Economic Conference here at the Kempinski Gold Coast City Hotel. I personally spotted some favorites of mine. I've seen them on the screen, and it's really nice to know that we could actually have them on the show. So I'll be speaking to some of them, and then we'll get back to you with all the details. I will take a break and wait for the conversations to finish. As soon as the conversations are done, we can engage them and learn more about some of the issues that happened during the meeting. So I'll be back right after this break.
And the reason I'm here today to talk to you all is because I know it needs to be said. This moment, this full circle moment, is about revolution. Now, in corporate terms, we call systemic change what I just said is revolution.
For what I'm getting ready to talk about, which is the Microsoft Events Community Engagement Playbook. It's organization, it's organizing, and it's structure-based. So a couple things we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about learnings, affirmations, and strategies. I'm not that good at math, that's 3 things. But bear with me. We're going to talk about those things relating to our Microsoft Events Community Engagement Playbook. But it really is about, to me, the purpose of every one of us being here. We are preaching to the choir when we talk unity. And I once heard from the Crown Prince of India, who had, in all intents and purposes, become a really good friend of mine. When I was working on Wall Street, we had opportunity to do some work together around human rights. And he told me something that always stood out, and that was very specifically, you cannot just preach to the choir storytelling. You have got to reach over and understand mainstream, the dominant culture that is not yet on board, and you have to try to work together so that you can move forward together. So, getting ready to get into those points, because I only got probably, I don't know, Boris, you keep me honest.
Taylor, who is the only black man in Hollywood who can greenlight his own movies. The only one. There's not another person of color in Hollywood that can greenlight movies. He's the only one. He finances his own movies, he distributes them, and he owns all of his titles. And what that means is As movies go through the revenue waterfall, they start at theaters, then they go to streaming and pay-per-view and cable and networks. At every one of those instances, the movie makes money. Now, usually, when you're an actor or a producer for hire, you get a check for shooting the movie, and then that's it. When you finance your own movies and you distribute them, you own the titles, you make money at every one of those instances because you own the movie. It's in music, it's like publishing, when you own the publishing to a song, right? So, to put it in perspective, Dion and his wife, Rox, they have distributed 17 movies so far, 15 of which went theatrical.
Wow, round of applause.
Yes.
Awesome.
And whereas an actor who gets to shoot a movie makes, $500,000 or something, or $250,000, they don't own the movie. Denzel Washington doesn't own his movies. Will Smith doesn't own his movies. So they get a check for appearing in those movies, and that's it.
When you come here is actually the flip side. Going into ownership and IP and all of that, I just also wanted to add that for the first time this year, we had the Africa Cinema Summit, which was the first time that African film cinema stakeholders have met. And we're talking about all of Africa, 4 corners represented, including the global stakeholder community, to discuss the future of Africa. Has less than 1,700 screens according to UNESCO. Just to give you perspective, France as a country, when you do programming, where are you going to show it? When you do your movie, where are you going to show it? Because this is where your primary market is. And so these are some of the new gaps that we have to look at.
In Hollywood, and we've never been given an independent spirit. How would that be? Because we are not to exist. We are not to be doing what we're doing. So I'm saying that to you guys because in this moment in time, it's greater living. So what we have to do is you guys got to understand immediately, right now, today, filmmakers, learn how to distribute your movies. She just told you, window one, so you guys understand what window one is. Boris explained it to you guys. 7 years ago, window one was the TV. That means you would wake up and you would turn the TV on. Window two was the computer. You would think on your computer. Window three was the phone. Now everything is reversed. So now when you wake up, the first thing people do is grab their, then after that they go to their, and then they maybe turn on the, okay, my daughter is 18 years old over there, 19 years old. I don't think she watches TV. So now, if you are a filmmaker, a writer, or a creator, you need to know, I think this on a platform. Who owns the platform in Africa where we can start distributing film? That's what you need to be looking for. Who's the next Spike Lee? Who's the next Deion Taylor? Who's the next Boris in Africa? That's what you need to be looking for. And we need to explain to them and teach them, do not sell out. Stay the course. Because none of the people that we just spoke about own any of the content. So therefore, we can't review the content. Friday, Ice Cube, love him, love the movie, one of the biggest franchises, comedy franchises of all time. The reason that there can't be another Friday movie made is because he doesn't own it. You guys hear me? Okay. The reason that Sony and Spider-Man is so significant in the space because they own Spider-Man. They can make Spider-Man over and over. They can make Into the Spider-Verse. They can make, right? Marvel. They own all of the characters. So they can make Black Panther. They can make Thor. They can make, it never stops. So we have to figure out what's our heroes, what's our movies, what's our comedies. We have to create those things and grow them from the ground up. And that's what she's speaking about right now. So all the conversations about, we gotta do it, Tom. We gotta do it. We gotta do the work and stop talking about it and actually be about it. And don't wait for somebody to pat you on the back. It's never gonna happen. Just do it. All right, I'm done with that.
when he sees himself in books. And we're talking about movies, but the creative economy cuts across books, Afrobeat music, it cuts across the henna artist that does your henna, makeup artist. It's a whole ecosystem out there. And you are on the regulatory side. I've been on both sides. I was in ECOWAS and I've seen the problems before. I was a staff at ECOWAS for years, and I've seen the problems on that side from the public.
Show is still Diplomatic Affairs. Harriet Nate is the name, and we will be speaking to the stakeholders like I mentioned earlier. We would like to know what exactly the objectives are when it comes to this particular event, you know, the Full Circle event, Africa Economic Conference. And we want to know how strategic this is. I have with me the director from the Diaspora Affairs Office of the President, and he's in the person of Mr. Kwesi Abebio, who is a very good friend of ours. He's been very supportive of Diplomatic Affairs, and so would like to pick his thoughts regarding this particular conference. Director, thank you. How are you?
Diplomatic Affairs. Everything you're doing is basically helping us do our work. So we are excited to have you, and we hope we can do some more work going forward.
Yeah, sure. Going forward, there's so much to be done. Director, let's talk about the Full Circle Africa Economic Conference.
I think it's important to know that Full Circle have been here before, and they've always come back with this agenda to make sure that they can help us to put Ghana on the map. I would say that it's the Full Circle that was really, you know, the force behind the Year of Return, when they actually came and the whole world, because they came with so many of the Hollywood personalities, people had to follow them, you know, on the social media, and it generated so many of the things that, you know, the interest that we had. Now this time around, the emphasis is on the economic benefits that we want to derive from all these, you know, initiatives. We know we have after the Year of Return, we have the Beyond the Return. The Beyond the Return, in essence, was to enable us to consolidate on the gains that we have made with our Year of Return. The economic gains that we are looking to see, we can really benefit the country for our socio-economic development. So this economic conference is in fulfillment of that agenda, to enable us to bring these people home, to deliberate and to discuss and to, you know, iron out the issues that we really need to be mindful of if we want to take it the next step. And I think this is the opportune time that, you know, and of course in our conformity with our brand idea of getting everybody home.
I think it's been successful. It is the second and the last day.
Yes.
How would you rate it?
I think it's been you can tell by the, you know, audience and their enthusiasm that they were all participating in the whole discussion, conversation, that it is going down very well. I'm glad. Very often you go to many conferences and the first day, opening day, is the day when everybody wants to be there with all the cameras rolling, and once the official people, keynote speakers are gone, the conference dwindles to a few numbers. But this is not the case. Today the numbers are still high. Everybody is keen and following on what is being discussed. Enthusiastically, people are making contributions, and we are taking good notes of what, you know, have to be done to enable us to realize the ideals of this economic conference. So I think it's been a good day. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Right, so that was the Director for the Diaspora Affairs, Office of the President, Mr. Kwesi Abebio, laying emphasis on some of the goals that they would want to achieve with this conference. So we will be monitoring and also follow them with our cameras and be updating you from time to time, just so you know what is happening in this particular area and how it all unfolds at the end of the day. It's good to see you again. Wonderful. You know what? Can we start talking already? Right. So we are talking to one of the brains behind the Full Circle Africa Economic Conference, and she is into so many things when it comes to contributing to the aspirations of our country. She is the CEO of the National Film Authority, and so ever since she took this position, she's been up and running, ideas, partnering, and seeing how best she can bring the best expertise together for us to also improve to the next level. I've had the opportunity to speak, with her before on diplomatic affairs, and we are happy to have her again. Yes, Antoa, it's a saying. Yeah, then we've moved past a Nkomono, and we are seeing things in action, right? Reflecting in our lives and into everybody's life, right? Juliet, you are doing so much. You are doing everything you can to make sure that you cause some changes in the movie industry. I sat in the debate or the meeting or the discussion, and I saw how passionate, as always, you were, laying out some of the challenges and, of course, the good things that we've done together. For you, what do you want to achieve at the end of the day?
Well, film is unique in the sense that it does several things. It brings along almost the entire creative space. Whether you're talking about makeup, set design, costuming, whatever it is, writers, directors, we can go on and on. And beyond that, it also employs like lawyers, nurses, you can go on and on, drivers, electricians. And so one of the ways of actually creating jobs and opportunities for Ghanaians, and not just Ghanaians, but Africans, because very soon we are going to be so many people, right? Over 40 to 70% of the global youth population. Now, if you have so many young people, there are two things that can happen. It's an opportunity if you empower them. There's a workforce, they can grow, they can develop a country, but at the same time, without opportunity, that can become risky. And so for us, we as a continent and certainly as a country, we will be at risk if all our young people are not do not find jobs to do and do not find creative expressions and all that. Besides, Ghana continues to lose out on billions. I was just talking to some producers. Someone said, look, I have like $100 million production I want to bring to Ghana. I've been having these conversations for years, and there are certain steps that we need to take as a country, one of them being tax incentives. And we've done the work that we need to do to move that forward. And so you see, Ghana needs money. And why are we sitting down for all this money to go, right? But the second most important reason why I'm so passionate about this space is because it's about mindset. If we can do anything and improve who we are, it's about our mindsets. And our mindsets are augmented by what we see on screen. That's why it's called programming, television programming. And so until we begin to push forward what we want to see, who we are, promote who we are. The American dream is promoted through their films and their music, and I can give you examples, but I don't want to go into it.
American culture.
Exactly. And so for us as a people wanting to improve who we want, who we are, wanting to preserve our culture, wanting to promote ourselves in the region and beyond, what better vehicle than the film, the film vehicle. And so for me, just these, I'll leave it with these two, but there's so many reasons. But creating jobs and opportunities for our people and impacting the mindsets of our people for development and, preserving the culture of who we are. Because if a people lose their culture, they've lost the essence of who they are. These are the reasons why I continue to move on despite some of the challenges that we continue to have. And sometimes we have conversations like this and you sense the energy in the room, and you can also sense what's coming and you get excited. And for me, I think the future is exciting, and we should use our voice to advocate and lobby the right people to do their job so that Ghana can begin to benefit from the opportunity of many films coming into this country to shoot and be made.
We can all attest to how much you've been pushing for some change in the movie industry, ever since you took over. Now, if somebody watching Becca said, is saying, exactly, at the end of the day, I hope next year we will not be here and be having the same conversation. What would be the first step? How do we make progress, and take stock and move?
The first step is exactly what you're doing now. as media. And media, you're part of the creative space, but most importantly, you're part of filmmakers. You're holding a mic, you're holding camera. I consider you a filmmaker. The first thing we need to do is to speak and advocate. So for instance, we've been talking about the tax incentive here. At the National Film Authority, we are done with the work. I mean, somebody needs to do some work who is not doing their work for us to move forward. And so I can talk and talk behind closed doors, but you need to bring it out into the space and hold people accountable and be like, hey, why are you not doing your job? Why
Do you say it is lack of political will?
I wouldn't say it's lack of political will, because I know that the political will is there from the presidency himself. I mean, the presidency himself has spoken himself to the National Film Authority and my team and said, I want this to happen and I want a tax incentive to happen. But it isn't the president who is going to push that paper. You know, the National Film Authority, we have a job to do. We've done ours. The rest of the people have to do their work. The rest of the people in the middle of that. And so it is all of us our responsibility, including Ghanaians, all of Ghanaians. Politicians always move forward what is important to the people. And so if we are able to demonstrate strong enough that, look, as a country, we understand and appreciate the implications of Ghana being set up as a film and content hub, because that's what the National Film Authority has been working on. I mean, for the first time, even in Africa, all stakeholders of cinema met. And guess where they met? They met in Ghana. And guess who promoted it? Myself and my agency made that happen for Ghana. For the first time in cinema's history globally, a president of a country attended a cinema summit. This has never happened. How are we taking that opportunity to run? We've led the continent on this agenda. Are we, taking that mantle and running with it? Or even after that agenda, are we going to sit here for other countries to develop after the conversations that happen on that platform? Whereas we are sitting here next year, we are going to do another Africa Cinema Summit, and the tax incentive will still not have been passed. And so there's only so much that me, myself as an individual, my team and my agency can do. There's only so much the president can say, let this happen. But those who need to do the work to make this happen need to do the work for this to move forward. And so I hope, for the sake of all of us, that next year, and I'm speaking very confidently because I know we've done the work, that next year, by the time we meet here again, we can boldly say that we do have a tax incentive. That's the only reason why someone who just spoke to me from here saying I have $100 million production is going to come here. When they bring that money, they won't take that money away. They would employ people. And beyond that, guess what? Film tourism. If Girls Trip comes to shoot here, and Girls Trip has just basically said we want a tax incentive to come and shoot. Guess how many people will go and watch Girls Trip? Guess how many people will see Ghana and come? So, I mean, pardon me, but I'm speaking this way because sometimes it's very frustrating when we know what we need to do to move forward, but we are not doing what we need to move forward, and people need to be held accountable to do their work. Thank you.
Juliet, as always, it is a pleasure to speak with you. And the thing about you is just your openness and frankness. Thank you so much. We will be here to do the little we can to support you. But keep going, though. Thank you so much. Thank you. Today we are talking about the contributions of the diaspora in building the Africa we want, courtesy the Full Circle Africa Conference. And we will be talking to a young lady who is all the way from the United States of America, and she is here visiting Ghana for the first time. Very intriguing. And I thought, you know what, you are not going to go without speaking to me. So you know what, let's get talking. Let's get talking. Welcome to Ghana.
Thank you so much. And thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to meet you. And
it's a pleasure for us to have you on Diplomatic Affairs. How are you?
I am beautiful. I am amazing. I woke up in my home country, home in my heart, truly. And so I'm doing amazing.
Happy to know that. And you look fabulous.
Thank you.
I love what you're wearing as well. Yes, it's all part of it, so we need to make sure that we full circle, the entire initiative. So we're doing it right, basically. Let's talk about you. You told me it's your first time in Ghana.
It's my first time.
How do you feel?
Oh my gosh. So, my first time in Ghana, and I feel exhilarated, and I feel like even though it's my first time, this is home and I have been here before. Everyone that I have met has been so welcoming, who has welcomed me home, truly. And I had even an emotional moment in that because it feels good and it feels warm.
It feels good and it feels warm and it feels like home.
Yes.
What did you have in mind before your encounter with Ghana?
Oh gosh. I did not have very many expectations, but actually, now that I think about it, I did have kind of a bias, I would say, that it would not be welcoming. That people, Africans in Ghana, would not be as welcoming to those from the diaspora. Truly, right? And I think I walked in a little bit with that misconception of wondering, is it really true? Do you really want me here? And I will say it's been all love since I've landed.
Where do you find yourself in the United States of America? Exactly what do you do?
So I work for what's called a Big Four professional services firm, Deloitte Consulting, and I lead diversity, equity, and inclusion. I serve as the DEI integration leader for our consulting practice.
Have you spotted any partnerships yet, even though you may not have been here for too long?
Any partnerships?
Potential opportunities, areas that you think we could work in together?
So I absolutely do, especially with this Full Circle Economic Forum Alliance. I think that there are some opportunities for partnership, absolutely.
Will you love to come back again?
Oh my gosh, yes, I'm already planning my next trip. I have to come back. This is my first time. It cannot be my last time. I have a husband and I have 2 children. They are 6 and 9. They have to come. I have to bring them back here. I would love to make this a yearly visit. And I could even potentially see myself moving here at some point in the future, but we'll start with another visit.
The future can be tomorrow. Who knows?
It could, yes.
Tell us your name.
Naya Baxter.
Naya Baxter. Naya, it's such a pleasure engaging you. Thank you so much for passing through our show. And I'm sure we will be catching up very soon again. And you're welcome home. Right, like I indicated, we will be speaking to our brothers and sisters from the diaspora who are here to participate in the Full Circle Africa Economic Conference. As I mentioned, it sounds very strategic. Obviously, people trooping in from the other side are also looking for opportunities, partnerships, and avenues to expand their businesses or even come back home and, connect with their homeland. So we are happy to have them here in Ghana, and Africa is rewriting history. Africa is rewriting its story, and we are happy to be part of this new story that is being written by Africa. And together, I think we can build the Africa we want. I will come back again, and then we'll talk to more people. So we love stories like this one I am about to share with you. When we talk about the development of Africa, we are looking at the contributions of the diaspora. And of course, the diaspora, we must create an enabling environment for the diaspora to thrive. And this story I'm about to share with you is one of many that actually, they are happening right now. We have the diasporans coming into the country, doing business, and forming partnerships, affiliations, associations, and they are doing marvelous things when it comes to creating jobs in our country. I have this beautiful lady who is doing something amazing in the real estate business. I'm told, I think as soon as we are done, I probably should go and get myself one of the estates. So Kimberly, This is Diplomatic Affairs. You're welcome.
Welcome, thank you.
How are you?
I'm very well.
Do you live here?
No, I don't live here, but I own property here at the Signature Apartments. I've been coming to Ghana since 2015, fell in love with the country and decided to invest here.
And I'm sure the country fell in love with you as well.
I hope so.
So let's talk about why you decided to take this big step in doing business in Ghana.
I love the culture. I love the people. I feel at home when I'm here.
How does this contribute? Because I know you want to make a change. Usually, when I speak to the diasporans, they are all about making a change. They're making a change with regard to the homeland, country, and all of that. How do you feel about the fact that you could come back home and establish this business?
Well, in America, we do real estate school. We have rules and guidelines and regulations that we follow. We have different forms that we have to follow. And when I got to Ghana some years back and started looking at real estate, I didn't find it as structured as I've been taught. So I wanted to bring some structure into real estate and help streamline the process, especially for expats coming in. So they don't have to jump over some of the hurdles that I did, to try to make it a smooth path for them to come here, not get frustrated, and do what I did, invest in the country, have a home here.
Right. Yeah. So I understand the name of the business is
Pliner Realty.
Pliner Realty.
Yes.
That's great.
Yes.
So what is the future? How does the future look like?
Well, right now, let me give you a background on Pliner Realty. I opened the company in 2006 in Atlanta, Georgia. I work with a lot of international investors, so I buy, sell, and I have a property management company that for them, and I want to bring that same makeup that I've done in the U.S. here to Ghana, and do the same thing, offer my services, bringing buyers and sellers together, tenant placement, and property management, taking that headache off of the owner, and helping especially people who live abroad, and just bring something that's familiar to them so they can feel comfortable investing in the country.
So it's been a success story so far?
It has.
Right. I wish you all the best. Thank you so much, Kimberly, for speaking to us. Well, today we are coming to you from the Kempinski Gold Coast City Hotel, and it's all about an event, a very important program that is happening here, the Full Circle Africa Conference or Economic Conference, which is happening here. And it's very strategic. We've had some very high profile personalities trooping into our beautiful land to have an experience with the motherland, as they term it. And one of such personalities is this huge celebrity. You know what? As soon as I saw her, I could easily tell who she was. I said, you know what? I know you from somewhere. You better come here and let's have a conversation. You better come here. Let's have a conversation, Sharon. Hi.
Hello. How are you?
How are you?
I'm great. I'm great.
How does it feel to be in the motherland?
It's kind of surreal, you know. It's taken me too long to get here, and as soon as I don't mean on the plane, I just mean in life. I should have been here a lot earlier in life. Right. But as soon as I got off the plane, it was like an immediate sense of joy and being in the right place, and I'm just very excited. There's a lot to see. I'll probably come back because this trip won't be long enough, but so far so good.
So far so good. So you got here, let's say, only yesterday, right?
Yes.
Okay, so it will be too early for me to find out whether you've had a taste of any Ghanaian meal, but do you have plans of trying, being adventurous with everything?
Yeah, I'm pretty adventurous, I would say. Your jerk chicken is next level. Because I've had Jamaican jerk chicken, but African jerk chicken is next level. I mean, I'm at the hotel. I have to venture out. You'll have to tell me. You give me a list of where to go, places to go. But so far, the food has been delicious. The people have been fantastic. I can't wait to shop because I want to be like you. I want to.
All we need is to get African fabric.
Oh my goodness, I've just seen so many beautiful, so I'm going to fill my closet with your vibes, and but I love it here, and this is definitely it's a soul journey. You know, this is one of those places. This isn't Hawaii. This is ancestral. It's deep and beautiful. So I'm really looking forward to the rest of the week.
Right. So you are looking forward to the rest of the week, and we're excited to have you here in Ghana. Thank you so much, Sharon. Final words.
I love you.
And we love you too. Thank you.
Thank you, Harriet.
Listen, guys, I have news, and usually I don't like to keep good news to myself. So I like to share. So we're still talking diplomatic affairs, and we are at the Kempinski Gold Coast City Hotel. It is all about the Full Circle Africa Economic Conference, and with me right now, it's somebody very, very hardworking, very determined, very resilient. I don't know all about her story, but you know what? The little I just learned right now, it is worth giving her all the credits right now. Have you heard about the movie Girls Trip? Well, I'm sure, yes, of course, who doesn't? If you don't, maybe you should begin checking it out, because we are about to talk about this movie, Hollywood, one of the biggest movies produced in the Hollywood, and it's going to be here. I understand this part 2 or the second
Girls Trip 2.
Girls Trip 2. Girls Trip 2 is going to be produced right here in Ghana. Can you believe it? Yes, I couldn't, when I heard this news. But guess what? I have the right person to tell us more about this. With me is Dominique Telson, and Dominique is a producer, and the company is Plus EVP Blackmailed, and of course we'll be talking about, I'm told it's her first time in Ghana, and that's even the most exciting part of this conversation for me, But Dominique, why Ghana?
I think that there is a feeling in the world, in the diaspora especially, of like we need to return to our roots. Nicole Hannah-Jones just walked by. She did the 1619 project. I'm also working with her about coming home to where we're from, and I think that provided inspiration for the writers of Girls Trip 1. Tracy Oliver and Kenya Barris, they wrote Girls Trip 1 and they were inspired, and now Girls Trip 2 is going to be, they're coming to Ghana.
Girls Trip 2 is here. Almost here in Ghana. But talking about the success stories, talking about the excitement, the enthusiasm and all of that, I heard tax incentive being one of the challenges that most movie producers are faced with, especially in our part of the world. I was part of the conversation, sitting in the room listening to the discussion. What is the way forward? Is that going to be tackled before you start the production of Girls Trip 2 in Ghana? How soon is this going to happen?
Well, the script has been greenlit by the idea has been greenlit by the studio. The actors are all on board, all 4 of them that were in the first one. So now it's about getting the script perfected, and then we will come here and film. But what makes a difference is, do we film somewhere else that looks like it? Do we film here? Do we go to Florida and try to make it look like Ghana? And the difference is a tax incentive. And so, us as a production company, the company that I represent is Blackmailed Films. It's Malcolm D. Lee's company. I worked with him on Best Man, the final chapters, and now we're doing the Girls Trip. And the thing that makes a difference is we want to be authentic. So we want to come to Ghana, but how do we convince the studio that we should come to Ghana? Number one, it's the infrastructure. Are there production companies here? Can we get camera equipment here? Can we get talent here? And sounds like with Boris Kodjoe and this Full Circle, that's happening. Number two, where's the tax incentive? Even just a little bit. What can you do to incentivize a big studio? They talked earlier, Universal is one of the biggest studios in the world. How do we incentivize them to come and spend the money here? They are going to spend, let's say, $50 million, $60 million on the movie. What are they going to get for that? If you go to Atlanta, you're going to get 30% back on your money. Okay, maybe Ghana is not there, but what can Ghana do to say, we're going to take care of you? And that's what we're looking for.
I am excited about the fact that the conversations have started already. So definitely there is a will, and we want to see this happen. My next question was going to be why Ghana, but you just told me about the authenticity of the environment, the culture, and the experience that you would want to also have here. And I think this will also pave way for many more projects. Once the conversation around tax incentive is out of the way, or there is a way to kind of like come to some sort of agreement, this would really contribute to the film industry in Ghana.
I came here I've never been to Ghana. Boris invited me. Okay, I have vacation time right now. Let me do it. But I I feel the power of being here, and I want the movie to reflect that. So I'm more determined than ever for it to happen, and so I support Boris and Nicole and the foundation so much in bringing the tax incentive, because then I can convince if Girls Trip 2, one of the biggest movies in the world, especially in the diaspora, right? Let's say if Girls Trip 2 comes here and is successful, do you know what doors? I can't even imagine what doors that.
Floodgates are open.
The floodgates are open. We have a Western, a movie that started in the West, that's coming here, that's filming here, and is successful. Come do it.
Do it. Come do it. Guys, we are ready to sit and have some sort of negotiation. So come do it. I mean, at the end of the day, this will also put Ghana on the map.
Ghana on the map. And the studio, again, Universal Studio is the biggest studio in the world. Show them what Ghana can do. And I feel like I'm here, not by accident, but to give the opportunity to connect those two things.
The motherland. Dominique, it's such a pleasure and joy to have you on Diplomatic Affairs.
I'm hoping that you're going to be interviewing me a year from now with Girls Trip 2 is here.
The conversation must be elevated to the next level, right? So we are here. Hopefully next year we're going to do it together. And you have the support of the Ghanaian media, especially that of the Diplomatic Affairs TV show. So we will be here.
Thank you. I appreciate that so much. And you also have my support, that I will do with everything that I can to make sure people know how beautiful it is to be here.
Thank you. Hello there, you're welcome to the only show that brings you happenings in the world of diplomacy and international relations, Diplomatic Affairs. The name is Harriet Nate, and of course you know that Diplomatic Affairs is watched in over 40 African countries in the interest of Pan-Africanism. And of course we are also very active on social media, streaming live on Facebook and YouTube and in some parts of Europe. I told you last week I watched myself in Paris and it was so nice, it felt so good. Well, guess what? We are still talking about the Full Circle Africa Economic Conference. The theme is already self-explanatory, which I have mentioned, but it is very important that we have the brains behind this project to explain and tell us exactly what the objectives are and what they want to achieve at the end of the day. But I do know that we cannot really move forward without the contributions of the diaspora, and this is all part of diplomatic exchanges between countries and even individuals. So we are happy to have the man himself, Boris Kodjoe. Yeah, the name rings a bell, I know. Boris, you're welcome once again to Diplomatic Affairs.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
How are you? How are you doing in Ghana? Are we treating you well?
Oh, I love it here. This is my home. This is where my father's family is from. This is where I've been since I was a boy, vacationing here, and it's very heartwarming every time I come here to receive the welcome of the people and to taste the food, to smell the air, and to feel the soil beneath my feet.
It must feel nice, right?
Yeah, it's incredible. It's the best feeling. Yeah.
Let's zoom into the agenda for this moment. Let's talk about the Full Circle Africa Economic Conference. I know you are like the brain behind this. You are doing this because you want to see change, especially in the movie industry. But it's not just the movie industry. Also, when I sat in the conversation, one thing that also came up was IT. So with other very important topical issues, let's talk about why you are doing this. Why is this so important to you?
I think that everybody has something, right? Everybody has something to give, and I was blessed to have a platform through the career that I've been lucky to have in Hollywood, and I want to use that platform in a way that that allows me to empower others and to also step into my own purpose. And I think my purpose, besides raising two human beings with my wife, is to create stories that usually aren't told, right? Because there's been this old narrative about Africa for so long, and it's been one-dimensional, and it's upset me personally for a long time. So I wanted to counteract that narrative in ways that I could affect and create change along with it. And helping to boost tourism here in Ghana and across the continent, and now helping to change the mindset from charity and aid dependency to economic development and investing. That's my way. That's the weapon that I have and I don't like to say give back, because that implies that I'm ahead of somebody, which I'm not. So I would say to just affect change in a positive way, and to empower others, and to try and be useful.
Try and be useful and impact others and cause change. You came with a huge entourage. Most of them have never been here before. I had the opportunity to speak with Sharon, and she is so thrilled to have an encounter with, Ghana. And she was like, Harriet, I'm coming back very soon. I'm planning the next trip already. And I've spoken to Dominique as well, And so for you, how much of convincing did you have to do to get these people here? Or was it just out of the things you are doing, that spoke, that made a difference for them to also join the moving train?
Well, living in the era of social media and the internet, it makes things much easier, because people saw what we did here, 3 years ago, and it's created quite a stir. It's created quite a stir and a tidal wave of interest and excitement about Africa. Period. And I'm not the only one. I'm just one of many who have tried to tell a different story about Africa. Idris, Naomi, and Bozoma St. John, especially for Ghana. There's many people who have tried to share their experience with the diaspora, and that's all we've been trying to do, to bring people here and to show them the multi-level, diverse place that Ghana is, and its culture, the food, the people, the amazing historic sites, and just the energy about Ghana. And there's not a lot of convincing that we have to do, because people have seen the imagery and all the viral content that's out there about Ghana in December especially. So all it is just an invitation. Most people are delighted and happy to be a part of what we're doing, and to see everybody turn up and support and have this transformative experience together. It's a delight.
Yeah, but, in your bid to shape Ghana's movie industry, I think there is a major challenge, which is the issue of tax incentives. What do we do about it? Because that seems to be like the agenda, when the conversation started. Where do we go from here? Because I heard Juliet, I interviewed Juliet briefly, and she said, Harriet, we've done our work, our part of the job, and we are waiting for the other people involved to also do their part of the work. And you asked, so exactly what can we do to move to the next level? And she was like, we need to set up a committee. And you were like, okay, cool. Director, you will be there, you will be there, you will be there. I see that you are the type who wants to see things happen on the ground. Next year when we meet, I don't want us to be talking about this same conversation. How do we elevate this conversation?
I think it can't be elevated any more or any longer. There has to be some action that needs to be taken, and the government needs to be accountable for some of the steps that Juliet has painfully, simply painted out for them, and they just need to follow that. Create a committee and sign off on these tax incentives, and once they do that, we can do the rest. We can bring people to Ghana. We've proven that over years and years and years. We can bring the movie business here, but in order for it to become an industry that affects change economically across the board in our community, there has to be tax incentives.
Has to be tax incentives. Boris, what does the future look like, when it comes to the diaspora's contributions to the development of Ghana and Africa?
I think the future looks bright. I think we have a great, innovative, progressive, young population of free thinkers and of doers, of people who want to take action. And I'm just here to cheer them on. I'm here to lend a hand wherever and however I can. And I'm going to keep coming back here.
We would love to see you come back more anytime. This is your home, like you mentioned.
Yeah, we're going to move here at some point.
Thank you so much, Boris. It's been such a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate. No, it's okay. Thank you so much. Right.
African.